Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome into this reading for the full moon in Taurus lunar eclipse. For those who are new, hello and welcome in. It is wonderful to have you here. If you want to learn more about these readings and how to get the most out of them, you can check out the tutorial video I created to catch you up on all of the amazing things that we do in these readings and the best practices I recommend for getting the most out of the information that's coming through and understanding where this information is coming from. Essentially your spiritual support team, but we get more into that in the introduction video. For those who are not new, hello and welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. I appreciate you. I'm honored to show up and serve you in this way as we together navigate the astrological cycles and understand more about our own astrology and to use the spiritual tools of the cards to connect with our support team on the regular, to honor these cycles and to get the most out of them so that we can be the best versions of ourselves. So let's talk first about full moon energy. Full moon energy is the energy of the fullness of a cycle. It's a celebratory energy. So with full moons, we tend to focus on the things that we are celebrating under the theme of the sign that the moon is full in. Now, a full moon is always in the sign that's opposite wherever the sun is right now. So right now, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio, and the opposite of Scorpio in the astrological story is Taurus. Before we get more into the Taurus energies, this is not just a full moon. This is a full moon lunar eclipse. So the energy of this cycle is a little bit different than our typical full moon energies. Typically, a full moon energy vibration cycle information will last us 28 days until the next full moon that we have. However, eclipses are more powerful, more punctuated energies that have longer cycles. They can be from 6 months to a year. So this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus cycle is going to last us a year. And so it's going to take us from when the full moon happens on November 8th all the way to when the next full moon eclipse happens October 28th next year, 2023. So this is a year-long celebration that we are being invited into when it comes to the Taurus themes. Now, the Taurus energy is the second sign of our zodiac story. It's what's called a fixed sign. Fixed signs represent the fullness of a season. So in the Northern Hemisphere, Taurus happens during the season of spring. It represents the fullness of the spring energy and archetype. It has the element of the earth. So earth elements in our zodiac story represents the material world. It represents the physical realm. And so we have with the Taurus energy this beautiful vibration and focus on values, material possessions, the environment, and the earth. So these are the themes that the Taurus archetype and energy brings up and brings into the zodiac story and into our lives to explore on a deeper way. It's a contrasting energy to the Scorpio vibration, which is the season that we're in. The energies that are opposite each other are always going to be in the same, what's called modality. So Scorpio is also a fixed sign, but it represents the fullness of the season of fall. So we have the fullness of spring opposite the fullness of fall, creating this dichotomy and complementary yet opposing energies. Scorpio is the energy of water, whereas Taurus is the energy of earth. So Scorpio is more concerned about the emotional realm, is more concerned about diving deep into the fullness of our emotions, where Taurus energy is really fixed and wants to stay on the material plane in the earth and is concerned with the practical, physical realm. So as we are going to move into this cycle with this lunar eclipse, we are going to be celebrating with the full moon energy this Taurus vibration, so values, when it comes to our own values of who we are, what we value in a practical way in our lives, what we find supportive, and what helps to ground us in this experience of life. We're going to be celebrating that with the Angel Therapy deck by Doreen Virtue. So even if you don't believe in angels, your spiritual support team, whoever they may be, is going to help bring guidance to you through the Angel Therapy deck. You are going to be watching only one reading for this lunar phase. There's a lot going on. If you haven't watched the new moon solar eclipse reading for the new moon in Scorpio, I recommend watching that because that's a whole nother cycle that we're in right now that has very, very powerful energies playing out in our lives, and it's going to help us navigate the things that are coming up in our sphere. But this reading, you are only going to watch for where the moon shows up in your chart. So you're going to look for this symbol right here. And this symbol right here represents the moon. And you're going to look for in your chart what astrological sign this symbol was in. If you don't know how to find that information, I did create a tutorial video to help guide you to that information and to that understanding. It is available and the link that's popping up right now, and you can learn all about the information of your chart, or at least how to understand and read the chart from this tutorial video. So you'll watch the video and the advice for your moon sign for this reading. So if you want to support me, there are many ways to do that. You can comment on this, like this, share this, dialogue with me about this, help me learn what is working for you and resonating for you and what isn't. And you can also share it with people who you think might benefit from this guidance and information and this fun game that we play with the astrological cycles, our own astrology, and the spiritual support tools of the cards. You can also give me a financial donation at paypal.me/devotedvulnerable. And you can sign up for any of my services at devotedandvulnerable.com/services. I do offer chart readings there. I do meditations. You can contact me for a custom guided meditation. I offer tapping services, and I have a chakra meditation service as well. Those are ways that you can support me if you feel called. It is not necessary, but some people want to know how they can reach out and support me, and those are the ways. Also, let me just invite you in to watch Molly MacLeod's really amazing breakdown of what is going on astrologically the moment this eclipse happens in 16 degrees 1 minute of Taurus at 6:02 in the morning Eastern time on November 8th. If you want to learn more about where the planets are and what that means for you on a personal level, you can go watch her video. I'll link it here so that you can really learn more about the astrology of this particular moment. I watched the video. I thought it was super helpful and supportive, and so I'm going to guide you there if you want to study more and learn more about astrology and learn more about how this phase is going to impact you. So let's get started and find out what we are going to be celebrating when it comes to our values and our finances for this lunar eclipse cycle that is going to take us all the way into October of next year. This reading is for you if the moon was in Aquarius when you were born. If you're already familiar with the moon in Aquarius energy, you can scroll ahead to the card reading. So the moon in the astrological story represents our emotions, and where the moon falls, the zodiac sign that it's in, represents how our emotions express themselves. So your emotions express themselves through the archetype of the Aquarian energy. Now, the archetype of Aquarius is the energy of the water bringer. And a lot of times people think the water bringer is a water sign. We'll get to the sign in a moment. It is not a water sign. It is an air sign. But if you think about our planet, what moves, what bears, what brings the water from one place to another? It's the clouds. It's the air. It's the movement of the water that actually helps the water move. So you think of the clouds, the air bringing the water up and moving it to another place and then letting it drop. That's the water bearer, the image of the man pouring the water. It also has this flair of humanitarianism, which is this energy of like bringing this breath of new life to humanity. It's a very fixed sign. So the fixed energies are the energies that are representative of the fullness of a season. So the fullness of the Aquarian season is the fullness of winter, which is in the northern hemisphere. Again, the element is air, which represents the mental world. So it's very fixed and unchanging air or mentality. You might notice that your emotions are very humanitarian focused, very original, very clever, very inventive, and very rebellious. So this is how the emotional realm expresses itself through the Aquarius archetype. Now keep in mind, as with anything that we're studying in astrology, the sign and the planet that it's in is just the breadcrumb of the whole astrological cake. So there are different things that'll modify this alignment for you even further based on your chart. So it may or may not feel 100% resonant. The other thing is that how these energies express through us is on an individual level for each of us to really play with and determine and experience. I learn more and more about my moon in Gemini all of the time as I start learning more and more about the archetype, as I speak about it, as I play with it, and as I observe myself. So it's not a fixed thing, which is hilarious to tell a fixed emotional sign that it's not fixed, but it is more open to interpretation. Let's see what's coming through for your reading for this eclipse. Okay. If you haven't already called in your spiritual support team, taken a few deep breaths, and opened your heart to receive the guidance most aligned for you at this time, I invite you to do that. Remember, you can pause the video if you need more time. And let's see what guidance is here for you. Oh my gosh, this is the third time this card has come up in this reading. This is a huge theme for all of us. Okay, workshops and seminars. Attending and giving speeches is part of your spiritual path and purpose. Be open to teaching and learning. This card seems so very simple, but I feel that for you, my moon in Aquarius, it's actually very, very powerful and important for you. Powerful and important for all the other signs too that got it. But what I'm hearing and feeling in this moment is your fixed energy may or may not be open to learning more. You may have a fixed understanding of things and you may not want to change your understanding of things. And this card, your support team is saying part of your spiritual path is learning new things, but it's also teaching things. So if there's something that you have learned that you feel would be supportive for the world to know, well, it's time for you to teach it. This is a year-long cycle that we're talking about, right? Till the next lunar eclipse in Taurus in October 2023. This fell down, so there's something else here that I'm not seeing or mentioning. Yes, let's also talk about the fact that this is the moon in Aquarius is a fixed alignment. The moon in Taurus is also a fixed alignment. In our zodiac story, the fixed energies don't necessarily get along. If this energy is fixed over here, it wants to be the only fixed energy. This fixed energy over here is like, what? No, I'm fixed. I want to be the only fixed energy. So the fixed earth of Taurus and this lunar eclipse is what's called squaring, which is a challenging astrological alignment, your fixed mental world. Okay, so you're being invited and challenged to learn more, to go teach more, to go learn more. And sometimes people don't think that they're ready to teach, but there's this beautiful saying that in order to learn something, you have to teach it. Whoa, this fell again. What am I missing here? It fell twice. Okay. Let's relate it back to values. Okay, because we're talking about this eclipse and the theme of Taurus, which is all about our value system. What is it that you value, moon in Aquarius? You value humanitarianism, okay? You value the human collective. You value the trajectory of unity that we may or may not be on as a species. And any workshops and seminars that are in this theme are going to be aligned for you to attend and or offer. This is something that the moon in Gemini has received. I'm a moon in Gemini, and I have been diving into a very deep understanding in science that will change humanity's understanding of itself in a very beautiful way, but in a very affronting and challenging way as well. Did I say as well twice? I did. That's okay. So there is an invitation for you to follow me a little bit closer and watch what I'm offering and sharing over the next year, because I will be teaching this. This is part of my path and goal. I'm aware of this, and this card coming through for me just really resonated with that and affirmed that for me, but it's also resonating and affirming that for you. So part of the reason that I think it keeps falling is I might be being guided to share with you that I might be a teacher for you, and I'm really hesitant to do that because I'm still learning this material. So the message about being afraid to teach because I don't know it all yet is also resonant for me. I like to show you guys how things are coming through for me and how I'm interpreting them, because I think it gives a good model for how you can interpret things through your own lens. It's not always just what I say, it's your own associations with these themes that your spiritual support team is using to help guide you and activate your own knowing within. So yeah, I'm not going to quite offer up the material that it is that I'm working with in this video, but I will offer and invite you to start following me if that feels aligned for you, because I will be doing workshops and seminars on this theme and just sharing content related to it, because it is humanitarian focused. And because your moon is in Aquarius, you are humanitarian focused. That is your value system. That is something that is very important to you. And it feels like this eclipse is inviting you deeper into that awareness and that understanding. If you didn't watch the Molly MacLeod reading about the full moon eclipse in Taurus, I do recommend that because Saturn's in Aquarius for this eclipse, and that energy is also really strong in this, how this eclipse is playing out. So you may want to watch that as well to get a little bit more understanding of the Aquarian energy. Uranus, which is the planet that rules Aquarius, is also very prominent in this eclipse. So there's lots of energy here for you to dive deeper into, to learn more about. Molly herself has a astrological course that she offers at the end of that video. So maybe that's a workshop or seminar that you're being invited into. And yeah, just comment. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know how this is resonating with you. Let me know what it is that you're excited to teach or to learn about. And until next time, and as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.